Hi everyone, I'm Sunny, and today's question is, what's so spooky about you? I have three piles, which I just should have scooted them over. Sorry, I thought they were closer, but basically, from the left to the right, I have pile 1, 2, and 3. So if you need more time, you're more than welcome to pause the video. Otherwise, I will go ahead and start with the first pile. So for pile number 1, you guys have, well, each pile, by the way, has two piles, well, two cards for each one. So you guys have the Page of Wands upright, followed by the Page of Cups upright. So what's spooky about you, pile number 1? I kind of wonder if you have a thing about like dressing up with your friend, like a certain theme or complementary tones. Like it just feels like, sure, it can be just you, but somehow you might kind of bring in somebody else to be like, let's match, or like let's complement the colors and textures that we are using to make it look congruent. It's like twin energy, but like a fun way. How can I say? It's like your bestie, like you and your bestie dressing up really cute. It just feels like that, and you're like, yes, we match, like finally. But it just feels like overall, it's nice. It's a nice feeling. I think you have a lot of fun with how you express yourself, and it can be sometimes spooky to people that maybe you like to, dress similarly, like maybe your best friend, or maybe it could be your partner. But it could be like that, where it's like, why is she or he dressing up like that? Like, it's just weird. Or maybe they also think that it can be a bit eccentric, that you have always like a standout. I don't feel necessarily it's even one particular standout piece. I don't think you have statement pieces. I think everything is a statement. It's your hair. Maybe you're the kind of person that likes to have a lot of volume, a lot of texture in your hair, crazy colored hair, accessories like flower crowns maybe. But like when I think of flower crowns here in like a spooky kind of way, I think of, rather than having like vibrant blooming flowers, they could be like wilted flowers at the end of the stage of the life cycle of a flower, right? So it could be like that. Maybe you could accessorize with like little skulls and bones on your, that was so popular with the emo style. Maybe that could be your style too. Maybe it could be gothic, or maybe it's like emo, or maybe it's just grungy or alternative or just moody. Like there's different ways that your emotions can dictate that in a spooky way, where it really depends on how you feel for the day, that you might gravitate towards certain palettes. Oh, oops, I spilled my water. Maybe certain textures too, like maybe sometimes it's lace, sometimes it's just regular cotton stuff, or maybe sometimes you just want like more interesting textures, like faux fur, right? It could be like that, or maybe you are into like leather stuff, but it just feels like you have a very unique way of dressing, and people will stare at you, but I don't think they do it so much maliciously. I think they like how you dress yourself, because even though it can be a little bit edgy, like, or far out from what their style is, it does seem like it fits your personality, where they can tell you're having fun. I think you're more on the younger side, or at least your appearance seems to be youthful enough where people are like, oh yeah, they're just still experimenting with that phase of life, or maybe the emotions that you're showing, or maybe it's just you're still young and getting to know your personality and your tastes, and maybe that's why they're like, oh, that may make sense why they're very experimental, or very flamboyant, or very okay with being out there and being seen. But maybe you're the kind of person that likes to wear, what are those pieces, like hair pieces called, with the clip-ons, but they're like the cheetah print stuff. Oh, it's been a while, but that used to be very popular, the cheetah prints and stuff like that on the hair, or like neon clips in your hair, tinsel hair. That's also like I really like that. I don't know how you put it, but I think tinsel hair is really cool. Like if you're going to like a party setting, it's unique. So they can tell that you're someone that has a lot to say, and you say it a lot, like with how you dress yourself, and even maybe your personality. I think that you're someone that can be a bit fiery and sassy. So maybe if somebody wants to like make fun of you for something you're wearing, you clap back pretty fast, and it can be spooky to the person when it comes to that. Like when it comes to that, like you might not seem like the person who would clap back, or maybe if you have that face, sometimes like maybe they're like, oh, that person. Sometimes it's like that, but this isn't necessarily for you if you do this. But sometimes when you put on certain makeup that's like heavier, right, more fuller makeup, like bright painted lips, bright painted eyebrows, like eyeshadow and eyebrows that are like maybe thinner or thicker, but it's very pigmented. Sometimes people can look at you, and it's not to say that it's ugly, but they might be intimidated to like even look at you and like tell you something. So if they do say something, you catch them off guard maybe, and the way you say it instantly back, it might be a bit passive aggressive maybe, or maybe just very direct because they maybe hurt your feelings or something. But overall, it just feels like that spookiness that you give off might just have to do with how you like to dress, or maybe how you enjoy, like maybe like example, Halloween. You're someone that's always ready for Halloween. You buy all these accessories, you go shopping for home decor, and you put out the pumpkins, and you put out like the candles and stuff. It's like you can be very much into that, and maybe that's why it's spooky to people. It's like because they go over to your house and they're like, what is this? It's like maybe there's an altar. I can't even say that word. Maybe there's an altar. Maybe it's just very candlelit. It might just look cozy to you and stuff, but sometimes that's creepy to people. It's like it spooks them out because it's like, where's the light? Like, where's the natural light? And you're like, there is light everywhere. So it can be like that. Sometimes not always how you wear stuff. It's how you decorate your surroundings too. You have a lot of energy for that, and they can see it. So that's what's spooky about you, pile number 1. Next, pile number 2, you guys have the 4 of Wands upright, followed by the 2 of Wands reversed. So a lot of wand energy here. So for this pile, what's so spooky about you might have to do with the fact that do you live in like a spooky place, or like your area is kind of maybe not haunted necessarily, but there's more peculiarities happening around you. Maybe you're the kind of person that lives close to that cemetery, or like that morgue, or maybe like a highway that's close to, more frequently freak accidents and stuff like that, or a river, or there's like areas that have a lot of activity, and you see stuff, or the people see stuff, or they like gossip and murmur stuff. They gossip and like say stuff, not behind your back necessarily about you, but more so of the location that you could be in, or maybe your place itself could actually be haunted or spooky because things go weird and they go bump in the night, and people might notice if they come over, or like if they walked you over to your house or something and the lights are on and off, and they ask you if someone's there, and you're like, no, it's just me. Like it could be one of those spookier things. Or maybe you see apparitions, or like it's a very, I want to say, trafficated place of energy, like high energy that might not be visible to the eye for most people, but for some reason your location just makes it seem like it's a hot spot. Or maybe you travel a lot that you end up picking up a lot of stuff, and it could be like that. That's how you possibly get stuff into your home. And maybe people might not want to tell you about it, but they're like, let's go. Like I feel like maybe with this 2 of Wands reverse, it's like people want to venture out and like go over and like ask you about it, but they don't do it because they're scared. There's something spooky about like not knowing, or like the spookiness comes from the what if, of course, and having an answer is maybe not what they actually seek, because regardless it's going to confirm something they don't want to know about, and they might not even believe it. So maybe that's why it can be tricky to navigate that. Yeah, I think that maybe you just keep that to yourself too, because it's like, why does it concern them? They don't even live here. But I think that maybe they just kind of get spooked out, or maybe they just feel like they're drained from their energy in that location, or you could be too, and that's why it's spooky. Like they can notice changes maybe on your personality, or just changes about how you come across, because maybe like at some point you used to be like more energetic, more vibrant and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden there was a switch. So it could be like that. You keep those like weird things to yourself, or like the house keeps those secrets to itself, and there's like rumors about it, like this person lives in the creepy place, or like a lot of creepy stuff. And maybe it's not even just your particular home, it could be possibly that area, like that street that is very active, not just you, so your neighbors are used to that too, and you're just like, it's just another day. Like, what am I going to do about it? Like, everybody's used to it, so it's creepy at first, but maybe you just become indifferent. So maybe that's why it's spooky to people, that they think about this. Or maybe you frequent maybe a specific location within your community that's pretty haunted or pretty active, if it's not, if it's not like confirmed. So it feels like you possibly know certain locations and you frequent them often, and maybe that's why people like talk about it, and it kind of creeps them out. It's like, what does this person have? Like, is this person having like a sixth sense? I never say some things right. Or maybe this person's like into like certain stuff, and that's why they have this like occurrences happen pretty often. Like, there's just like a lot of he say, she say. So maybe that's why it's overall like spooky vibe about you. It's just things that are maybe out of your control, but it has to do with location and your home and what feels like the foundation of who you are. Overall, it just feels like there's a lot of like energy here, in the sense where, because it's like an upright and a reversed, I feel that there's moments in time where it can drain you, and then it's like not as draining, and then also like you use a lot of energy maybe to like maybe make things seem normal, and it can be draining. It just feels like somehow maybe there's like some passive aggressiveness from the other side too, or maybe it's just from your side where it's like, I just want it to be normal. And you're kind of stuck. So it could be like that sometimes. It's just unfortunate, but that's what's spooky about you, pile number 2. Next, pile number 3, you guys have the Justice card upright, followed by the 5 of Swords reversed. So what's so spooky about you? I think it has to do with the fact that you have a strong personality. Every pile seems to have like some minor differences. I mean, of course, I guess it's a question that I was asking, but for this one in particular, maybe it's just that the fact that there's a strong female force in your side. So maybe this is you, or this is maybe your mother, or maybe like a teacher, or like someone that's like a guardian, or someone, maybe it's a sister, like someone that's strong and intimidating, and people tend to like walk away from you, or maybe others, or that person. Like, maybe example, like, so maybe if you have invited and this could be the scenario too, where maybe this is all of the above, or like there's a lot of strong females in your household or in your vicinity, in your friendships and stuff, and maybe because you grew up with a strong mother, people wouldn't go over to your place because they knew that she had a short fuse, right? She was like, you either come right or don't come at all. And particularly maybe more with men. Or the opposite, SCX, right? Doesn't have to be females, but it could be like that, right? And they knew better, so maybe that's why you ended up picking up some of those habits of like, don't F around, because those claws come out. And it could be that with men too, where it's like, because you grew up with strong females, you knew when there was BS, your BS meter got better, and you're like, manipulation doesn't work on you. So you know when to avert conflict, but you know when to confront it too as well. So you know where battles are worth fighting for, and when they're just better to just basically walk away. You have good eye for discernment. I can never say that. I didn't say the whole word. I'm really trying. I'm sorry. Yes, I cuss, but I try not to like say the words mostly because they don't recommend you as often sometimes with the YouTube algorithm. So, apologize if that was, yeah. But you get what I'm trying to say. So it could be like that, right? Overall, I do feel that's what's spooky about you. There's an intimidation in you, and maybe because you have a good appearance to you, and the good appearance is where you can look like a good person and with good morals and stuff, but you also use that to your advantage, even as a man. So maybe your good looks also play into that, maybe because you are blessed with beautiful genes, and it could be because of your mother, or because the women in your family are good looking, you have good genes too. So it can be a bit of a femme fatale maybe, or Casanova type of thing. But I don't really feel that you are someone, even if you're a man, that you're kind of like a player. It just gives off the vibes that you could be. But it's just sometimes people might look a certain way, people might have that judgment of you, right? So it's spooky to them that you can use that maybe as leverage or something. Or maybe you're someone that might secretly fight off petty women, or women who are jealous of you, and you put them in their place, and that's why it's spooky. Like somehow they maybe disappear. It's like, where did they go? And you're just like, I don't know, like they just, maybe you didn't even have to do anything about it, they just happen to like get out of your life. It's funny how sometimes when you, I can't explain why, but sometimes when you have a certain person or people really ruin your life, or really get like, try to like get even with you, or somehow get back at you for something, and then all of a sudden you stand up for yourself, and then they just disappear. Like they don't want the beef, they don't want the conflict with you. So it can be like that, where you're like, they didn't know you can wield a sword, right? They didn't know you can cuss them out. They didn't know that you knew those big words. They didn't know that you knew how to be tricky when it comes to confusing them about your actions. But you did, right? So that's what's spooky to them, where it's like, this person knows how to verbally put people in their place and intimidate, but you just choose to take the high road for the most part. But maybe it's because of your appearance that you have this like mean girl or like mean guy kind of vibe that's spooky to them. But overall, that's just maybe their judgment on your personality or just physique. But yeah, it's just interesting in that way, where that's what spooks them out. It's like that power that comes from within that they don't see, or that mental power, or just that verbal power that you have, can be spooky to them. And you might just not consider that that big of a threat or something, but it is to them apparently. So that's something that like they want to point out specifically, of like people who have judged you or just critiqued you in some way. It's like that's spooky to them. It's like, I thought they were more submissive or meek or just whatever, like they just kind of took it passive, but you're not. But there is an intimidation in that, where it's like your silence speaks volumes basically. But when you do speak up, it's because of unfair treatment of yourself or others. You don't like seeing that stuff. It's like, no, that's not going to happen in my watch. So you put people in their place. So that's what I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I don't think I've done that many like readings when it comes to like more about like yourself and stuff. I'm gonna try to do more, but yeah. So I mean, that was a thought for myself. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. So bye everybody.